We have nothing to go by when we're in responding. So there's only one or two people that have information that's throwing out there that we're supposed to sit here and just say nothing about it.
What you suggested in terms of having a meeting before the meeting would be a violation of the Sunshine Law. Again, we are a body politic. We discuss things in public, in an open session, and decisions are made based upon the agenda items in front of you. And again, tonight's motion was to retain an auditor so that an audit can be effectuated and a report can be prepared. So when you state you haven't seen the audit report, that's inconsistent with factually what occurred tonight. There was a motion to retain an auditor to do the work. So you haven't seen a report because there isn't one in existence. That wasn't what we voted on tonight.
But you did reference some sort of audit finding of a $30,000 discrepancy.
We referenced the fact that the state has made that determination, that there's a $30,000 discrepancy, and the state has directed us to reconcile it, and our special counsel, TCOA, had requested that we undertake action forthwith, hire an auditor to get it done, because we run the risk, in our attorney's opinion, of if we don't get it right, the ramifications are a potential loss of $1.2 million.
No, I completely understand that.
What is the state looking at then? How is it that the state sees this?
Because the COA,
there's a funding formula that they put in that was entered into the system.
There's a
separate research fund.
Correct. There's a system that they can monitor.
And they have a look-see into our funding, and they have a look-see into the bank account, which is
everything.
Three trusts are involved in it. The county, the state, and us.
Okay.
I don't recall ever having an audit of the current funding.
No, and again, this is not something that we're suggesting needs to be done like financial records every year. This is it's a one-time thing.
Yes. Making sure that they agree, the bank accounts agree.
Michael, do you have anything to report to us tonight?
I have. Well, there is one thing at least. We took care of a few things already. I think the only thing that requires any action is we received a letter from the state DOT regarding next year's municipal aid grants. They are due to be submitted in October. We've done them every year. We've been successful in getting various grants over the years. Last year we submitted Dumont Road and Washington Street. If you recall, we were not successful, so I think, my guess is I'd like to talk to John Howe again, but I'd like to think that we probably want to just resubmit those. Wouldn't be that much work involved. They have to go electronically again. They're due by October 16th. So, if you want to proceed with filing of applications through this year's program, you really should make a motion tonight to authorize me to proceed with the preparation of the grants. I can give you an update next month, and then we'll file them obviously before they're due. Any questions?
No, but let me make the motion now to authorize you to do that before we forget. Anyone else? Any comment? Roll call.
Perez?
Yes.
Siegel? Yes. Kalari?
Yes.
Miliani?
Yes.
Troyal?
Yes.
A lot of repetitive items in my report. I mean, my report is. I'm going to start taking a few things out.
I was actually, Michael, from a historical basis, it's good. Like for
invaluable. I go that far, Mr. Mayor.
You know what? I won't disagree with that. But in all seriousness, it is nice to be able to, because when you read your report from beginning to end, for someone like me, I can actually go back 2 or 3 years and get a historical basis. So
But I
it's,
think you could go back 10 or 12 years.
yeah,
Some of
okay,
it-
but,
some of these been
but
around a long
I'm
time.
actually thinking, I actually was thinking tonight, maybe moving forward, just keeping it on, you see how you highlight within your report, because it's the current stuff, just make that your report in terms of action items or whatever. I think you can do that.
Well, I actually made this recommendation, I don't remember when. It may have actually been even last year, and I don't remember the discussion really in any detail, but the answer then was, no, just keep it the way it is. I think everybody liked the idea of having this big comprehensive document that goes back. I mean, some of the stuff, like the new municipal building.
I know.
Honest to God.
I know.
Once a year, you could, with the
Yeah.
beginning of the year, you can put it out.
Yeah, so, okay, I know exactly, we've
Annual
condensed these
report.
reports in some other towns, I know exactly what you want.
Yeah, let's do it
I'll
condensed.
give you a trial run next month and you can tell me how you like it.
Sounds good.
Okay, fine, thank you.
Sounds good.
Mike, can I just talk to you about this Elizabethtown gas, the easement?
Oh, sure.
It depends on what we're talking about, because I want Elizabethtown gas easements in closed session for contract negotiations.
Well, this has to do with the residents.
Oh,
Is that okay?
sure.
I got a call, Mike, I spoke to Mike, I got a call last week about some of the work that was being done down at Kennedy and, what do they call it, Greenwich Hills, or Greenwich Estates?
Well, there's Greenwich Hills, there's Greenfield, there's Kennedy Mills,
Well, on the other side of town.
It's Greenwich
South
Hills.
of town.
Greenwich Hills.
Greenwich Hills. And the residents were concerned.
You got a residential call?
Yes.
From a resident?
Yeah. They were concerned about some of the work that was being done because there were trees taken down, and then trees that are still standing that have been damaged. You can start to see that the leaves are dying on the limbs that are out, that are hanging from the trees and stuff like that. Some of them are concerned about structural damage to the foundation.
Foundation of what?
To the home. There's one resident who actually said he has cracks in his foundation from some of the work that they were doing. So anyway, not to go over a whole list of things. And this was over by Green Pond Road and Mayfair. Is that the other one?
Greens Ridge Road. And
Right.
Mayflower Drive,
Right, Mayflower Drive.
Kennedy Mill.
Yes, and Kennedy Mills.
That's Kennedy Mills.
So anyway, the concern that they had, and I'm sure that Elizabethtown Gas and the construction company will do the right thing, if there is any damage to the homes and that stuff. But the concerns that the residents have is they don't want them to leave and then be left with problems. So Mike and I had spoken about this, and Mike was gracious enough to say, well, just have the residents direct their concerns to him, and then Mike would handle if there's any issues. So I just wanted to make the committee aware of what was going on, what some of the residents are talking about down at those two developments. And it is like a two-lane highway. You go take a look at that easement. It's really
Well,
big
it's-
easement.
The only thing
Well-
I have to say about that is that this Elizabethtown gas pipeline is not a township project.
Correct.
And so, to the extent that there's an issue between Elizabethtown Gas and a private property owner, that's not the township's jurisdiction, that's a private property owner dispute with the utility. And when you purchase a house, you have the easements that are recorded right along with it. And, some people choose to buy homes that have these utility easements right next to them, and others say, hey, there's a utility easement there, I'm not buying my house there. And so I don't know how far anybody's going with anything, but I don't really see this as a township issue.
I couldn't have said it better myself. In fact, I wanted to actually say, to the extent, Michael, that you're willing to take the phone call of a resident, I'm just going to be, and it's gratis, and it's not in the township, then no, I don't think it's appropriate. Because it is not appropriate for the function of the township to get involved in a personal legal matter between Elizabethtown. In other words, if this person who suffered structural damage due to any work by Elizabethtown Gas, that's a matter between the homeowner and Elizabethtown, their own private counsel, their own experts. It really would not be a function of the township engineer to get involved in it. We have no legal standing, in my opinion, to get involved in that.
And the fact is that Elizabeth Town Gas owns that easement, but they chose to purchase the property up against.
And they have the right, as a
They have
matter of
the right.
law, to go in there. That doesn't mean that they have the right to do damage.
Right,
You know, they have to do things in a responsible way, and to the extent that they don't, well, there's a legal ramification for that, but that's not a matter for the township.
Can I, if you don't mind?
Scared.
No. You are 100% correct.
But, I always love the but.
But, in my capacity as the township engineer in this lovely municipality, and you all know I've been around a long time,
Mhm.
I have gotten involved with a bunch of stuff that clearly does not fall under the purview and a job description of a township engineer. Okay, sometimes I gotta do it gratis, but it's the right thing to do. In this case, I wouldn't be doing it gratis because Elite Town Gas is gonna be paying for all of my time through the escrow. That's point one.
Okay.
And obviously, I need to say that. I wanted to say that before Brent said what he said because I knew this was gonna go there. The second point is, we have a role in this project as the municipal engineer, working with Elizabethtown Gas on the 4 road crossings, which are New Village Road, Larn, Pine Hollow, and Mayflower. Okay, so we have a guy in the field that's working with Elizabethtown on I don't want to say a daily basis, but on a regular basis, so there's relationships. My offer to
Can I
Dan,
stop one second? Mayflower is in Kennedy Mill.
well, Mayflower is actually half in Kennedy Mills, half in the other development,
In Greenfield.
Greenfield.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and committee, Mr. Mayor and company, if you don't want us to help, that is absolutely fine, because to be honest with you, it will only lead to a lot of aggravation. Because I've been down this road 1,000 times. But in an effort to try and help out, I made that offer to Dan because we're already involved, and all we would do would have my inspector meet with the person, evaluate the situation, advise him, and then probably evaluate whether or not it's a legit complaint or it's just a homeowner that's unhappy because their yard is getting disturbed by the gas company doing this work.
Let me ask you this, you say there's an escrow account.
Yes.
The escrow account is specifically established for these issues?
No.
No.
No,
think
Dear,
so.
that escrow account is for your professionals to represent the township's interest to a developer. It's really, I
Mike,
don't
if we-
think it would be an appropriate use to bill against the escrow for that.
Because it would be depleting the funds that would be available to us when an issue for the township comes up.
Correct.
Mike-
Also, it might put you in a liability situation.
Mike, have
where
we
he's
made
That's my concern.
Wait, my next question is, have we made any-
The resident believes you're representing the township.
Well, that's true.
Going through the process
Yeah,
we
that's
have,
true.
let's not even go down
Okay,
this path.
fine.
The wraparound issue.
My question is, have we made any representations to these homeowners yet that we're going to do anything for them? No.
Not me.
Have we
There is
spoken to
not.
anybody yet? No.
To be-
When you answered them, you didn't say we were going to get the township engineer involved, we're not gonna. I just wanna make sure that we haven't made any
No.
promises that we're not, that we may.
No, I have not
keep.
spoken with
There's
one
a
resident.
homeowners association too, don't
Right.
they?
I thought the homeowners association would be handling something like this.
Well, the homeowner association probably would only handle it if it's affecting homeowner association property, which it may or may not be.
Yeah.
Well, they would be taking the same
Well, I know
The
that,
township,
I know
yeah.
that gas line is right bordering that open space where their entryway is. I used to live on New Village, so I mean, I know it's
Well,
right
then it
through there.
probably does impact the
may.
HOA.
Right, so, I don't know. I just wanna make sure that we haven't made any representation of
Okay.
promises that we're not gonna be able
That's
to
a
keep.
point.
Okay, fine. So we will not, you don't have to make any motions, we will not, well,
I
yeah,
don't
we
think
won't
you
proceed
can,
forward.
Mike, I don't
with
think you
that.
can. I mean, it'd be nice to be
On a
able to help
local
out, but
basis,
it's really, it's inconsistent with the law, in terms of, it's not it's really not our responsibility. It's really not.
So then we're saying that these residents should not contact you then?
That's what I'm hearing.
I mean, they could, maybe they want to retain you for.
Well, they can.
Okay.
No, they absolutely can't do that. So then they shouldn't contact me.
Okay.
Right, because I'm gonna need to go back and tell them, not, to forget it.
Yeah. I just got an email tonight from one, that was the first contact.
But it's important that you convey to them that
That's their-
the township attorney has explained
Yeah.
to the committee that legally it would be improper, and that the CFO has explained that the use of the funds from the escrow would be improper. So, I mean, it's not that the township committee is turning their backs, it's just that we're doing what we need to do under the law, which in this instance
The other
is not.
thing I would say is, they made independent conversations or deals with the homeowners along that tract of property if they were going to disturb anything. If they're unhappy, they should contact whomever they whomever they talked to and agreed to. They didn't just come in and do it. All those homeowners were contacted by somebody from Elizabeth Town Gas and made individual agreements.
You have to do that, right? Like, is
Oh, they were contacted. I know the fellows, they were
course of
contacted.
business?
Yeah. Yeah, no, they were contacted, of course.
Right,
they
so
were.
it wasn't like they just stormed in and ruined some stuff and then said,
They can contact
let's deal with
somebody
it.
and say, hey, I'm not happy with what's going on out here. Come out here and take a look, or let me send you some photographs or something. So they may, some people have even gotten financial, dollars for portions of their property. So they have some sort of legal obligation already in place that they need to follow up on. And I'm sure some of them have even had attorneys look at those agreements.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I think actually, I was done. I think Dan actually brought that up.
Oh, right. Okay. Thank you. Brent?
Everything I have is for executive session.
Okay, so we're to the second public comment period. Can I have a motion to open the meeting up for second public comment?
That's the motion.
I'll second it. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone wishing to be heard, please come up to the microphone, state your name. And this one is on whatever subject you wish.
Troy Rush, 110 Washington Street. Thanks so much for handling the house next door to me that's falling apart. And now that it sounds like it's going to be a while before anything's done, can somebody mow the lawn? Because they stopped mowing it 2 months ago. It's got to be close to 3 feet high.
I'll contact the bank, they have a rep.
I contacted them, they told me it's not their problem anymore.
That, okay, well, when they say that back to me in
Okay.
writing, then they will be served a summons.
Yeah, the guy was coming every week, or every 2 weeks, but he stopped about 2 months ago.
Okay, because there's a procedure that I have, so
Okay.
they don't.
Let's turn up the,
Yeah. Thank you.
thank you.
Frank Marchetto, 102 Dillon Drive. Recently, I saw an article in the paper that the town committee was getting sued by a certain developer because of a decision you made on restricting a weight limit on the bridge going to Strikers Road. So, as a resident, who lives close to that and knowing the traffic that would come through there, I just want to thank all of you for taking that stance, and it's unfortunate that you'd have to be sued personally by any town. So as a resident, I appreciate all of you, standing up for the residents. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Gary Hill, 529 North Main Street. Since we're actually on that topic, is the township going to be responsible for representation of the mayor if he is sued personally for the comments?
All of the township committee members will be represented by the township attorney in the suit, yes.
With regards to the parks.
And then just to further clarify, and because the litigation is patently frivolous, ultimately it is my belief that under the fee shifting provisions of New Jersey law, it is my expectation that 189 Strikers will ultimately be obligated to reimburse the township.
The parking on North Main Street, we were talking about 125 foot to the north of Greenwich and 75 to the south. It seems excessive for 125 feet to the north, mostly because it affects my house.
Is that what,
And
no offense, Gary, but that those two, like, statements don't jive.
Do we know what is the Title 39 law of how far you have to be from that entrance?
It's about sight distance. It's not about the distance. You want to see the map? Okay. You want to see it like right now, Doran?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out. I kind of got an idea of where the 75 feet ends.
The 75 feet ends at the driveway opening at the next house, going into town,
Yes,
like,
going
to the
south.
south. The 120 feet going the north towards the SWAT building basically goes to the utility pole, coincidentally. That happens to be, you know,
Actually, no, Michael, if I can suggest, this is public comment. I would just add, whatever comments he would like, you could take it offline after the meeting, but it's not
Okay.
really about the back and forth.
All right.
Maybe
The other comment was is it so much as a matter of the yellow zone just being repainted because they replaced the curbs there, and the yellow zone just needs to be replaced. It's faded on Kim's side going south, but it was never repainted on the north side. It would be just a matter of how much of that needs to be repainted.
Honestly,
Does the
Gary,
county have to be involved?
Honestly, Gary, there's yellow paint by the school. There's part.
Oh, yeah, it's faded. You can,
And on your
not
side,
that it matters.
on your side, it's, the vehicle's backed up right to the entranceway in front of your vehicle right there. So it's blocking on either side, and it's right up against the curbing. And I don't believe that yellow paint, you know, brighter. I mean, they're being parked. So this way it's going to be through the town, it's going to be all repainted and marked, and the police are going to be told to enforce it.
Okay.
It's really dangerous pulling out. I mean, you tried pulling out. You can't see.
I understand it 100%. I'm concerned about the 125 feet because it just seems a little longer than what I was expecting. That's all.
Yeah.
But we'll see what it looks like on that. Thank you.
It's only 6 cars, if you think about it. I don't know if that's an only, but you can take a look at the plan when we break there.
Hi, Brad Perone, 110 Canal Crossing. Just remember, on the shared service agreement, the 1 year, Diana and I were talking, just remember that part of the agreement is the use of business administrator for her qualified purchasing agent services. We have a new BA, so that she can use that for 1 year, but she has to get, after she's new, she has to get certified. So she has to get that qualification in a year, so we may not want to go beyond a year until we know that she has that. So that was the one thing. Delaney had brought up about you need server space and for financial purposes, and we recommend reach out to Maria, and then there's a contact that the school uses for the servers, and maybe there's
That's a great idea.
a way to utilize that same service and you can get some kind of discounted rate. On the secured information, you're talking about using Dropbox and stuff. At the school for the board members, you go into the website, which is the public website, and there's a secure logon for board members where all the confidential and all the information is placed, so it's secure for just the members, but it's there. So if you put it into like a Dropbox or something unsecure for purposes of Oprah and other things, I don't know that would be the best avenue. But I think that's another question to ask, is how that was set up. It was probably through the same individual who could help you with the servers. So.
Brad, is Maria who's your technology person?
Is it, well, the person that we work with is Monroe.
Right.
I don't know his last name. He's sort of the outside.
What if I went up and met with Maria?
I think if you contact Maria and she can give you the correct names who to speak with.
Actually, I'd like to be part of that meeting.
Okay, yeah, we'll set
Yeah,
something up.
again, I don't
We
know
really have to
if
do the webpage, the whole thing.
anything will come out of it, but it's certainly worth looking
Actually, it was
into.
pretty good lesson I spoke.
Great.
Yeah, just
Okay.
maybe something could come out of it. I don't know.
Good.
And just a question as a resident. Going back, you had mentioned about Mike being a health officer. Do you need certification to do that? And I know you could probably do it, but if we're talking about, destroying a building potentially, can you take the recommendation of someone who's not certified to do a motion like that? I mean, do you need to have a certification to be a health officer? I'm posing it out there just, just as a concern, so.
Go ahead. No,
You don't need certification?
not in this capacity.
Okay.
This is a designated township position that, in all honesty, from a credential standpoint, I could probably fit the bill better than anybody, but that's just maybe by luck. That's not by design. Were you here last month when this came
No,
up?
I haven't been
Okay.
here a couple months, so.
I'm the designated health officer in another town where I've gone through this process already, and that's why I was a little bit educated about the process. What happens, to give you a little comfort level, and I said it before, that if I have a great level of discomfort, I will pull my own plug on this. The DCA and the code officials and so forth get involved, and there's other people that end up getting involved with the process before the wrecking ball comes out. So
This is to get the ball- this is to get the ball rolling.
We're way
That's fine.
ahead of, we're
I'm
not
good.
even close to.
I just want, if you're good, you're good, and you're good, I'm good. It's good enough for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Oop.
I wanted to clarify one thing, because I know, I guess I'll make it official. Diane Lean, 429 Daniel Drive. This is just to clarify one thing for Community Day and for the future too. I appreciate, Elaine, if you can hear that you refer to it as the BOE website, but it's the district website and it's taxpayer paid for, and we think it's a wonderful thing. We'd love to take credit for it, but it's the district's website. But to get something on it quickly, because you see that we announce all sorts of things. We've got a link to your website, rec, and so forth. Just send it directly to Maria Applewhite. She may tell you to send it to Terry Riley or whomever, but in the short run, send it to her. You don't need to send it to one of us. Send it to her, like if your announcement is there are 2 upcoming dates, these are the dates of 2 upcoming meetings for people who are interested in Community Day, just send it right to them.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and she may say send it to Terry, but that's
I appreciate
quicker.
that. Thank you.
Sure, no problem.
I couldn't do anything on that.
I did, I got it.
Kim got it. It's
Okay.
She's got it.
Joe Fraley, 729 Jackson. On those rubble strips, if the manufacturer of those rubble strips has any kind of documentation on the number of decibels, that emits from them when the car runs over them, it might be good to send something out with a letter that says it's X amount of decibels if the truck runs over it, and kind of convert it for them to see, the Board of Adjustment with X number of decibels is the equivalent to such and such.
A lawnmower.
Yeah, a lawnmower or whatever, so that they know, because you're gonna get a lot of questions from them. What is this, a lot of noise, what does that mean? I know Kim's gonna get a lot of calls, what does a lot of noise mean? Because nobody's gonna, you're just gonna confuse people, I think. So I think that might help to clarify things. As far as the paperless thing is concerned, Palmer Township has started a new software called Novus Agenda. Basically it's a paperless system. I don't know if it'll fit this township, but what you would have to do is fill out some forms and let them know, how much paperwork you do, and basically you figure out how much paper you would save from the copy machine. And the amount of savings with the copy machine would pay for the cost of the software. So I don't know if it would fit, but that's what they're using. I don't know how successful it's been, but they justify the cost over there with that. So that's designed specifically for municipalities to do that. So it's called Novus Agenda. So you might look into that. Okay, thanks. Oh, and the other thing is, a new corporation. What kind of a reputation does a new corporation have to destroy? I mean, 189, whatever, the Stryker. I mean, what kind of damage would a new corporation have to destroy? Cost of setting up a corporation? How much is that?
Anyone else? Seeing no hands, a motion to close public comment?
Motion.
I'll second it. All those in favor? Aye. A motion to go into executive session to discuss pending litigation with Greenwich Township versus John Ray Kennels and contract negotiations with Elizabethtown Gas and Easement.
And contract negotiations for firehouse lease.
Oh, and contract negotiations for firehouse
And
lease
RLR enforcement.
and RLR enforcement for the two add-ons.
Make the motion.